So you've got a champion pool, right? You're really set on these champions. You really enjoy playing them, but when you bring them into your rank games, you're just not winning games. You feel like you're playing okay, but you're just not able to carry. You feel like you're a bit lost in what to do and you don't know where to improve. In today's profile review, we're going to be breaking down a player who is currently Bronze 4, who has found the champions he loves to play and is ready to stick to and climb with. And we basically break down a strategy for 3 to 6 months on how to improve on those champions, how to get better on them, and how eventually to get them to positive win rates. Because right now they're quite negative, and the goal is to get them to 55%, because that's the goal. He wants to go from bronze to silver and eventually to gold, and so we need to get at least a 55% win rate to get him to his rank goal. Before we get into the video, if you're interested in getting your profile review just like the one you're about to watch, please check out the link in the description below. Let's get into the video.
Any suggestions that you're seeing here? Like anything like glaring?
For sure.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, so it looks like you haven't really found a champ that you can climb with, which is a bit of an issue, besides maybe your Braum in terms of win rate.
Yeah.
Is this your first season playing?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
I've only been playing for about a year. Only started taking serious in this past month.
Got it. And you're clearly liking a bit of Aatrox and Mordekaiser. What's brought you to those champs?
So I like playing top lane. That's what I've kind of like started to settle in on, is that kind of playstyle. And I also like the big manaless bruisers.
Got it. Okay.
You know, those characters where if you win top lane, you kind of just turn into a raid boss.
Yeah. Okay, so you want to improve on them. That makes sense. Okay. So on your own, those champs are really complex to learn for new players. Like, not complex, but you can kind of see how you're struggling with them a bit.
Yeah.
And
there are definitely some scenarios where, like, I don't have, like, the skill to perform what I need to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what I'd recommend is generally, I think, like, I know Garen can be boring for people, but he's a really good one to learn top lane on. And then once you kind of understand all the more important concepts of top lane, like CSing, wave management, trading, recall timers, all that kind of stuff, you can then use those concepts that you learned on a very simple champion and move it onto a slightly more difficult champion like Mordekaiser or Aatrox. Because the problem for you right now is you're trying to do two things at once. You're trying to learn a champion that's quite complex, but you're also trying to understand the mechanics of top lane. Because top lane in itself is quite a complicated thing, and you know, clearly you are having a bit of trouble doing both at the same time.
During like laning phase and such, I'm usually able to go like somewhat even, if not like even get a little bit ahead at times. It's usually like when we get into like mid game where I start like fumbling the bag, you could say.
Yeah. Okay, I was gonna see if I had any top lane stats on Mobalytics, because Mobalytics gives a gold difference at 15, but this is only for mid lane. So I can't see that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I went a bit of a mid kick when I first started before I settled in on top.
Yeah. Okay, nice. And so you're married to top, like you really want to give top a go now?
I want to give top my utmost best, because like the main champions I like all do well there.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. So yeah, I would honestly recommend like switching it back to a more simple top laner until you can get. Well, I guess actually let's bring it back another step. What's like your goal with ranked League of Legends? Like, what do you want to do? Do you just want to have fun? Is there a goal rank you want to get to?
So, I first want to see if I can make it to silver. Like, I want to see if I can just get there at all, right?
Yeah.
But I do want to like slowly start climbing to like gold, and I want to just keep improving. Like, I don't really have like a set goal. I just want to like keep improving, you know?
Yeah.
Like no like set endpoint in mind.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, cool. So you do want to climb. Okay.
Yes.
So
I do want to climb. Okay. Yeah. Cool. I also just want to have a little bit of fun with it. Like.
Yeah.
I don't want to go like these like hardcore meta picks. Don't like this champion, like that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Okay. So then the alternative is, it's like the easiest way for you, like let's say right now, it would be to just pick Garen, and you would try and just aim for a 55% win rate on him, and you'd eventually get to silver, you'd eventually get to gold. But it sounds like it's a bit boring for you. And so on a call like this, I can't really tell you the secrets to Aatrox or Mordekaiser, because, they're champions
Yeah,
where
I
you've kind of
understand.
got to learn how to play them. And so if you really want to climb to silver playing Aatrox and Mordekaiser, it's going to be a longer journey than, say, if you picked Garen, and it could, be quite frustrating, kind of like what you're having now, where you're at around a 37% win rate.
Yeah.
And have you tried like YouTube videos or anything like that of like how to play Mordekaiser in top lane?
I've been looking at videos of like I've been looking up the guides, like the basic like playing in top lane, like your standard combos, CS, like kind of like matchup things.
Yeah.
I've been also been watching a very like specific good Aatrox player for top lane. I've been watching a lot of that to try to like figure out like what he's doing, try and replicate shit like that.
Yeah. And do you feel like that's working?
I'm learning like of what to like build into people a little bit better, because as you can see, I kind of like only have one build route. If you look at all the games, it's literally just Eclipse, Cleaver, D-Dance, and then by that point, either the game's over or we snowballed.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, cool. And so now you almost need that specific advice where it's like, okay, this was a game I played against Tom Kench, and like, look at these 3 trades. Why did they go so badly? And, I guess a video of another player playing won't ever teach you that. It's either you test and learn on your own, like you just keep kind of going through the process of versing that matchup and making mistakes, and eventually you learn. Or you can get a coach to help you game review, which is like basically going through with a coach and basically them figuring out with you how to fix all the things that are going wrong in your games on the champions that you want to play.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that is what I recommend for you if you're like, I want to play Aatrox and Mordekaiser and I want to get to silver gold, because it sounds like you're already doing all the things that you should be doing to improve on these guys, and you're just not seeing the results yet. So it could be just like, you've got very low volume as well. So it could be like if you played 20 or 30 games on Aatrox in ranked, maybe it would improve. But also if it doesn't improve and you end up having like 100 games at a 37% win rate, you kind of doom your account a bit with your MMR.
Yeah.
And then it becomes really hard to climb. So I'm a bit cautious of that approach, unless you're not married to this account and you're happy to just get another account, or even if you're happy to get another account and learn Aatrox on that and just take a break from your
I actually
main.
do have one. I actually have two accounts where I just learn characters. It's just where I just have like 2 accounts set and ready, blue essence up the wazoo, just like, already this champ, learn.
Okay. Because that's what I would almost prefer. Like if this is going to be your main account that you want to climb to its highest rank, I would do what I call a 2-account strategy, where I have my one account where I climb and then my other account where I'm learning, right? And I never bring a champ over to my main account until it has at least a 55% win rate in ranked solo with at least 20 games played.
Alrighty.
Now that seems like it might seem like a tough requirement, but you need.
It seems reasonable.
Okay, that's good.
Like
people
you want to make sure like you want to make sure like you're still going, like you're winning more than you're losing, that before you put it in your main, right?
Exactly. That's the theory. I'm never sure how impatient some people are. Some people are like, no, fuck that. I don't want to play on a second account. I'm just gonna take it to my main.
Oh no, like I'm fully well prepared to like make a sauce up on a second account, learn the champ, be really good with them, and then just pop in here and transfer the skills over. I am fully like willing to do that.
Okay, because that is again that better alternative if you aren't looking for paid coaching solutions. That's kind of the best.
Yeah,
That's the
I
best way
sadly
to do it.
don't have the cash, or I would.
No, it's fine. It's fine. But that's what I would recommend for you, because that's what I recommend for my clients, and that's what I do for myself. And
Alrighty.
and I think that, like, yeah, I think you keep plugging away, like, after maybe like 20 games on either Aatrox or Mordekaiser, whichever one you want to learn first. Even touch base with me again and, like, just let me know your win rate and link me the account, and I can, give you some brief feedback as well on kind of what to do next, or if it's ready to go to ranked, or, back to the drawing board kind of vibes.
Alrighty, yeah. Definitely.
No problem. And then I'd also suggest with that second account, whenever you're getting bored or something, don't suddenly switch your main from like mid lane to top lane. Do it on your Smurf first. So if you're like, oh, I'm fucking bored of Aatrox and Mordekaiser now, even though you just got them to, that 55% win rate, and you're climbing with them, don't just go, oh, I'm going to play mid now on your main. Go, okay, I'm going to try mid, but I'm going to do it on my second account until I can get good on it, and then I pivot my main account. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Definitely.
Excellent. Any other questions? I mean, we got time, so I'm happy to answer. Anything else?
One big thing that I do have a question about is, for fights, or like actually for pick and ban, actually is one of the big things I struggle with, because a lot of times, as you can see here, I feel like I'm getting counterpicked up the wazoo. You know what I mean? Like Alawi, Riven, in everywhere.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I'm supposed to do about it, because there's just so many that I feel like just kind of just kick me in the teeth.
Yeah. Yeah. And so there's a few things here. So one, Aatrox is in an incredibly weak state at the moment. I would say Mordekaiser's in a lot better position than Aatrox at the moment. So it's like Aatrox has a lot of bad matchups at the moment because he's quite weak in relation to the rest of the top lanes. That doesn't mean you can't climb with him. Like, there's one tricks of Aatrox in Masters and stuff, but it just means it's going to be a lot harder. So if you're willing to almost be sadistic and go through that pain because you just love Aatrox so much. Yeah, exactly.
This is like the only character I find fun anymore. Like...
Yeah. So then you kind of have to just get your teeth kicked in a lot. And the good thing is you develop a lot of grit, and, you have the tougher matchups, so you probably learn a bit faster because you're just getting smashed all the time, and therefore you learn a lot more. And then the second one is like, you're still learning this champ, and he's kind of complex. Like, so you're gonna struggle with him a lot. And it's gonna for example, mastering Aatrox is gonna take so much longer for a player than mastering like Garen. Just as an example, I keep using Garen because he's like a good example.
I run into so many Garens, man. It's ridiculous. They just get to run at me, and I don't know what to do sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. So it's that. It's then pick order as well. Like, as a top laner, you should almost be always trying to get last pick. So I don't know if you actively try and switch pick order.
I haven't yet.
Do that because the meta is most players will let you switch with them because they know top lane is brutal. Like, most players. Sometimes it won't happen, but you should always try and get yourself down the pick order as far as possible.
Alrighty.
Unless, obviously, the top lane has been picked. Then don't, sabotage your teammates. And just pick into it. But yeah.
Definitely.
And then I'd suggest, if you're like, oh shit, I know Aatrox gets dumpstered in this matchup, maybe, start thinking about, okay, I'm going to play Mordekaiser in this matchup and see if it goes any better.
Alright. So can I just throw myself against the wall, see what sticks?
Yeah, well, I mean, it seems like I'm just going with Mordekaiser and Aatrox as two champs.
Those are my two.
Yeah.
Those are my two.
Yeah, because what I'd do is, if you're like, I don't know what champ to play, I'd say, well, go to u.gg. You can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, go to bronze, so changes the rank, and you just look at the highest win rate champs, and you can see, obviously, Garen's here.
Why is Singe so high up? Holy.
Yeah, because he's got a very simple kit, and he just kind of can't make mistakes. And you see the real simple champs, and then you see Mordekaiser up here. And then I think Aatrox is probably like close to last. Yeah, there we go. Which is fine. Like
46.
meta doesn't matter at your rank. It's more again what you enjoy, and if your heart's set on something, there's no reason you can't get your Aatrox to like a 55% win rate.
Yeah.
But I just think in the meta at the moment, if you're like, okay, I want to climb, and I still want to climb while playing these champs, I'd say like really put a lot of games into your Mordekaiser first, because that is the champion you'll see results on faster compared to Aatrox.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Just out of curiosity, is there any champ in this top 15 that you were like, I'd be really interested in playing that?
There was actually one that I was actually like saving up to try and get next. It was Scion.
Nice. Yeah, I think Sion's quite good.
Because he's manaless, yeah?
No, he does have mana, but he's quite forgiving with his mana. But also, you should learn mana management, because you're going to have to eventually. And I think someone like Sion's good. I mean, you could learn Mundo. He's manaless.
True.
But he's a bit
I fought
boring.
Mundos, man. It's just throw cleaver, walk away, you know?
Yeah. You could try Kled. Kled is manaless. He's a bit complex as well.
I actually have Kled. I actually played him a couple of times. He's quite neat. The one problem I do have with him is I feel like as soon as I engage, I lose Scarl, and then I just don't know what to do.
Yeah. Again, you'd probably have to find a Kled one trick and like watch them and be like, this is what you do on Scarl, because it's like a really interesting concept when you're on Scarl, because you have to attack champions to get back on it.
The one other character in like the top 15 that I was actually looking at getting was Urgot.
I really like Urgot. He's a good one again for learning top lane, because I think he's a very simple kit, but he's still quite fun. Like he has his ult, which is like a skill shot, like that you can shoot from pretty far away. So there's some really fun things you can do with him.
Alrighty.
But yeah, I mean, if your heart is stuck on Aatrox, you can keep doing it. Just understand it's going to be a long, slow, painful road.
Of course. Holding out, man.
Yeah.
Hey, I originally, like, before I like got into top lane, my heart set was on Azir. So I mean,
okay, yeah, you're crazy.
I'm used to the punishment, and before that, it was pre-patch Asol.
Oh, jeez.
I like the orbs. I like these crazy champs that have these weird, wacky ideas.
Yeah. I can understand it. I mean, yeah, the league meta does get a bit one-dimensional and boring sometimes.
Yeah, like I don't want to just walk at my opponent and spin, you know?
Yeah.
I want there to be something more to it, where I actually have to like think a bit, or else I'm just not gonna want to play that champ over and over again.
Yeah, that's
kind of what led me to these guys.
Yeah, and it's kind of the issue with League at the moment is everyone's so heart set on climbing, so they play the more simple mechanic champs generally, because it's easier to climb on them, because you don't have to, do all these sweaty combos. You can just point click and win the trade against some guy who's like an Aatrox who's trying to like dodge you, make sure he hits his Q to knock you up.
Exactly.
And Garen
it
just
definitely
spinning
feels
on
like
your head.
You're playing a harder game at times.
Yeah, exactly.
It definitely feels like you're working harder than the opponent.
And you are.
Yeah.
But if that's how you want to play, that's how you want to play. So you just got to build your champ pool around that. And make sure you just give yourself extra time on that second account to actually learn the champ. And keep doing what you're doing. Just find a one trick that's educational and just learn as much from them as possible.
I actually think I might have. Unironically, I've been watching him for like a couple of weeks now.
Yeah.
The guy's named Nail, I think it is.
Okay.
I believe he's like master close to GM Aatrox.
Yep.
Just one trick.
That's good.
Goes into everything. It shows like what he thinks like certain matchups, what he builds into certain things. Like he shows the macro plays, talks about it, micro, all of it.
That's good. Well, then just keep trying to absorb information from him, because you're probably going to learn as much playing a game of Aatrox as you are going to be watching a video from him. So make sure you're dividing your time up. Okay, I'm going to watch it's like 30 minutes of YouTube or whatever of educational Aatrox content. Then I'm going to play a ranked game.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Like kind of like the already study for quiz. Rank is now the quiz.
And also understand, because he's high GM masters, like his games are a lot more structured and orderly, whereas you're in kind of the
Yeah,
chaos
where
wastelands.
I'm into spaghetti elo.
Yeah, where anything can happen. So it's like if you're
Oh
trying to
yeah.
apply exactly what he's doing, it's probably not going to work. But as long as you understand the theories and concepts he's doing, and then really focus on
Apply it on.
the simple ones in laning phase, like wave management, trading,
Yeah.
understanding where the jungler is, all those kind of things, will allow
Hmm.
you to play Aatrox a bit better.
Oh, speaking of laning, there is one question I had because
Yeah,
like wave management as a thing, right?
yeah,
I only really know like one kind of like way to like manage wave, right? And that's slow push.
yeah,
Like just don't hit minions till last hit and then just slowly build up, then crash back or like maybe run into jungle if they're not there. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
Proxy wave, shit like that.
Yeah, well, if you
I
know one, you can learn the others because it's just simple math.
The one that I want to learn and I feel like could help me most is freezing. I just
Yeah,
don't know how to do it.
yeah, yeah. Um, so freezing, it's a common one that a lot of people really below like gold don't know how to do, and even in gold, even in plat, um, because you always feel like you need to be doing something, whereas freezing is almost intentionally not doing things to allow the wave to build up. So
All right.
going back to the concept of wave management, it really is just a math game. Do they have more minions than I do? And if they do, then you can freeze the wave because you just keep killing a minion slower than their minions are killing minions, if that makes sense. And so
Yeah.
you keep
You basically
the order, like you keep the order of the wave, and it's just going to stay there the whole time.
alrighty.
The tricky part with freezing is getting your enemy off the wave as well so they can't push it. So generally you have to either know you win the trade. So whenever they come up to try and push the wave, you push them off it and like punish them and like slap them on the wrist and say, no, I'm freezing the wave here. Or
Okay.
they have to go out of lane and then you freeze it because, you know, they can't contest the wave. So they slowly lose minions while you're just last hitting and keeping it in the same spot.
All right.
And then you've also got to take the risk of if you freeze forever, well, then your top laner might leave lane and go gank your mid laner, and then your whole team rages at you.
Yeah.
But freezing is generally a really good one if you want the lane to be quite stable, or if you're trying to bait the enemy into overextending so you can like run them down and kill them. Because when you freeze a wave, like let's say just in front of your turret, you've got a lot of time to kill them because they have to run really far to get to their safety, which is their turret.
Yeah.
But freezing's it's quite a complex one. I'd suggest try it, but just make sure you kind of you have a why. Like you're like, I want to freeze this because X, or I want to freeze this because Y.
The main time like I'm trying to like figure out when to do it is like the time, or at least what times I think I would want to is like, so because the only thing I know how to do is slow push, I can't keep my wave like near tower a lot, so I
Yeah,
can't get like the easier farm because I'm always constantly like running it into the enemy's
yeah,
tower.
and
Eventually,
it's because Aatrox is all AoE abilities as well, same as
yeah.
Mordekaiser.
So
Yeah,
so it's like, I can't single target a minion. I guess I'll just slowly push forward.
yeah,
Or
and
it's like I want to try to like stay near my tower, just like I can't.
yeah, and that's why sometimes mana champions are good to learn the game on because it makes you value your abilities and you go, okay, I'm only going to use my abilities on champions, maybe as an example. And that will help you with the wave management a lot. It's almost like a mini game where it's like, I'm only going to auto attack minions because you really shouldn't be using abilities on minions if you're trying to slow push or freeze.
Alrighty.
You should only be using abilities if you're trying to fast push because using abilities on minions will kill them faster than auto attacks.
All right.
And if you can remember that simple concept, that'll probably get you quite a long way in terms of wave management. Because I think a lot of people just throw out their abilities and then realize, oh shit, I've pushed this wave. Uh-oh, now he can like freeze on me or now he's going to go kill me. And then you just keep doing that. Then you respawn, come back to lane again, and you slow push and he kills you again.
Yeah. That is one of the things that ends up happening if I do get behind. It's like it keeps going towards them.
Yeah. And I think the slow pushing and freezing are really good because you do generally want a really stable laning phase. Particularly when you're learning a champ, you just want stability because then you can learn more in a stable environment where you've gotten the resources and you've gotten the XP for when mid-game or late-game team fights happen, you can show up and you've actually can do impact. You have impact.
Alrighty. One last question back to pick and ban.
Yep.
Is there like I'm not sure if you know this because it's kind of like a very specific question, but is there any character I should be like specifically banning top lane, like above anything else?
I generally recommend players just ban who they hate the most because it's almost like a mental thing. So it's like if you're like I want to play Aatrox and Alawi is feels like your worst matchup, just ban Alawi.
So mine's like a tie, right? Alawi is actually one of the two. The other one's actually Gwen.
Okay.
And it's just like It feels like whenever I ban one, the other comes up.
Yeah, so what I'd do is I'd go to a site again like u.gg and you look at the pick ban rate and you go, okay, I hate Alawi and I hate Gwen. Look at Alawi's pick ban rate, so 7% pick rate, 21% ban rate, so she's very popular. And then you look at Gwen, here we go, 3%.
3.1 and 1.4.
So she's half the pick rate of Alawi, so I'd say you ban Alawi every time.
Alrighty.
If you want to be like a statistic guy, well, you just go, I ban Mundo because he has the highest win rate in top lane in bronze. But
I feel like I beat Mundo, not gonna lie.
Yeah, exactly. So then you wouldn't ban him. But yeah, or you would.
Yorick, I think I might struggle with, but
yeah. And then, or the other way you do it is you go into here and you look at what the biggest counter is, and you could go like, okay, I'm gonna ban one of these, but again. I would say ban Alawi because you don't like them and they're a very popular pick. And they're super boring to play against. So one-dimensional Alawi players.
Dodge, skill shot, dodge, skill shot.
Yeah, if you get hit by the E, game over. And then
just
go next game, yeah. But yeah, always ban who you struggle with the most in your head because that will just help you out.